Hello, everybody. My name is Cesar de Leon, and this is 72 and Strong, an online community of teachers, parents, and leaders. Our focus is to provide clarity and answers to the questions that you may have. Today, we welcome Roxanne Bassett, an educator who has worked as an English and ESL teacher for most of her career. Ms. Bassett has worked in the Central Texas region and currently teaches at Dobie Middle School in Austin, Texas, where she earned her latest accolade of Teacher of the Year. Ms. Bassett has much experience working in Title I schools and with our incredible English language learners. Please help me welcome one of the most astonishing educators and humans that I've ever had the pleasure of working with. Hi, Ms. Bassett, how are you?
Hi, Mr. De Leon. You are very generous with your praise, and I appreciate it very much.
Ms. Bassett, you are a game changer. You help East Austin and Austin ISD, be what it is. So without you and the kind of teachers that, that you are, the kind of teacher that you are, we wouldn't be where we are. So let's get started, Ms. Bassett. So as an English, ELA educator, Ms. Bassett, what has been the most difficult part of this whole distance learning, transition?
Well, as we all know, this is a truly unique time in history for most of us, and it's requiring a lot of flexibility, patience, and understanding from everyone. So it's important for me to keep that in perspective when I think about any kind of difficulties that I might have in our transition to online learning. I need to keep in perspective the fact that a lot of people are having to deal with this pandemic in a much more serious way. So that being said, one of my biggest challenges has been trying to deal with students who have not received a computer and have not been able to be with us in online learning because they don't have the technology. But of course, that's something that school districts across the nation are having to deal with because of this sudden virus coming upon us. So it's not just an AISD dilemma, but something that's affecting us nationwide.
That's right.
And eventually all students will have the technology. A second difficulty I've had is not having the advantage of being in the classroom and being able to observe the students so that I can tell who needs individual extra one-on-one attention. With online learning, you just can't tell that. And so that's kind of frustrating on my part. And then a third thing would be the fact of not being able to have classroom discussions. Of course, we have the ability to use Zoom and to have discussion boards with our students on online learning, but that's just not quite the same. And with having a large L population, they really need the exposure of oral language. And in ELA, we teach a lot of abstract concepts that really need to have visual representations as well as the oral discussion. So they really benefit from large group discussions and small group discussions. And that's just really kind of hard to accomplish with online learning. So those have been three of my difficulties with the distance learning.
Absolutely. And you bring a great point, Miss Bassett, because you're a tested subject. You have to get these babies, these children up to par with sixth grade or seventh grade, eighth grade standards of testing for the START test. And it makes it that much more difficult to meet the needs of the students, across the screen. And you're doing all the right things, trying to do all the right things, but it just makes it that much more difficult. I hear you. So, Ms. Bassett, reflecting on that, have you experienced any successes with these new systems and procedures?
Well, I'm excited to say I have.
Oh,
For one thing, I've become a lot more proficient in Blend.
yay, there we go.
So I'm happy about that compared to where I was when we first started online learning. So that's an exciting thing for me. And I've also been able to discover some new student-friendly ELA websites that I was not
Oh,
familiar with before. So I will definitely continue to use those, whether we're online or in the classroom. Also having a daily blog with my students where we can talk about anything and everything that might be on their mind has been really fun for me and enjoyable to talk back and forth with them. And just a casual kind of off the cuff way. And then Zoom has proved to be a very easy tool to use. So I've enjoyed that every day. I wish I had more participation from the students on Zoom, but I think maybe they're a little shy about using Zoom and speaking on Zoom. Sometimes they'll come on but not reveal themselves or not talk on Zoom. But I think the more we're online, the more that will change. Also, some of the assignments that I've given offer online grading, where the assignment is automatically graded for you, which I am not used to, so that's a plus. And then finally, I have assigned a lot of quick writes, and it's been really easy to read those online and then to write comments back to the students on that. So I've enjoyed those.
and that's great because they get automatic feedback from Miss Bassett. The system grades it sometimes. I know you still have to do much reading and comments and typing, but like you said, it makes it a little bit meaningful that it's live interaction with the students who might be at home. That's incredible. So Ms. Bassett, I'm thinking, what would you tell all of those parents who are watching this video, who have students in your class, who have students in another school? What would you encourage them to do?
Well, to begin with, I would like to say thank you to them, and I admire them for all that they have done during this time to take such good care of their families, to keep them safe from this deadly virus. And I know that it has not been easy and that it is still a day-to-day struggle for a lot of families. I know that I very much appreciate them talking to me when I call their house so often to find out how they're doing, to check on them. I'm sure it has been somewhat bothersome, all the phone calls that I've made, but both AISD and I just want to check on their well-being. So
That's right.
that's the purpose of those calls. Secondly, I would like to thank the parents for being so supportive of your children during this time of online learning. It's been somewhat of a learning curve for the students, but they have pretty much embraced it and been enthusiastic about it. And I'm very proud of them for their efforts. I've also noticed that some parents and older siblings have been very helpful with the Dobie students, and they have encouraged them and helped them to get signed on to their computer and get involved in their assignments, and that has been very helpful. Of course, this is not our normal school routine or setting, but the teachers are doing their best to make it as creative and positive as possible. We're working on it together all the time. I encourage the parents to talk to their children about what assignments the teachers are giving them, and probably a lot of parents are already doing that. But I think that if the parents can get the students to talk about some of their assignments, that then the parents and the students can have a connection that I think could be very rewarding for both parties, for the students and for the parents. So that's what I would encourage the parents to do if they have time, to please try to talk to their students or get their students to talk about their assignments.
Absolutely. And the part, I mean, everything was great. I don't think parents mind, Miss Bassett, when you call. I would be on the phone with you all day talking about everything. So thank you for calling our students and making sure that they're safe and that they're fed and clothed and have a roof over their head. It just goes above and beyond the call of being a teacher, right? Just like you mentioned. Moreover on that, there was a piece you mentioned there, the transformation that teachers had to do in about 3 weeks. We had to go from live teaching our students to, hey, now everything's over a computer, over distance. You have 3 weeks to figure it out, go. And I think we've done a marvelous job of, switching how we teach students, and not just in Dobie Middle School or in East Austin or in Austin IZ, but just like you said, the whole state, the whole country is just, it's completely changed. Speaking about that, now that students are at home, what can students do at home to further develop their language skills? Do you recommend any tools or techniques?
Well, I think there are several possibilities that the students can pursue this summer to work on their reading, writing, speaking, and listening skills. First of all, I think the students need to be aware of the fact that Blend is going to be available to them during the whole summer, and they need to log in to Blend. I would say at least once a week this summer, and be aware of what's going on in Blend. I mean, after all, their teachers may be posting blogs or games or activities or reading lists or lessons, all kinds of things. So it would be very wise for the students to try to log into Blend at least once a week, maybe more, so they can take advantage of what's available there and have some learning during the summer. I would also recommend that they read as much and as often as possible. The more you read, the more you learn, the more you know. Reading is pretty much the key to everything. So there are several online reading websites that the students are already familiar with: getepic.com, Mayan, and Macanvia. So those are the ones that we've been using, for two of them for several years, and then getepic.com, we've started using that just since we went online. So all of those are very student friendly. They offer multiple genres for the students to choose from, as well as lots of different reading levels. So the students can easily choose a book that they would like to read. And there are also audiobooks that will read to them. So there's all kinds of possibilities. Also, they can, I think they should work on their writing skills. And a good way to do that right now would be to keep a journal. If they don't want to do that daily, then I would encourage them to do it every other day or even once a week. We're living in unprecedented times right now, as everyone knows. And if they look back on that, on the writing that they do now, if they look back on it a few years from now or many years from now, that's going to be some interesting reading.
That's right.
That would really be interesting to their children in years to come. And in the meantime, they can be working on their writing skills.
Yeah.
As they're writing that journal. As far as their speaking and listening skills, they could work on making conversation with their family or with friends. They can be thinking of good questions to ask family and friends, and then listening to the answer without interrupting, but really listening for what is being said, and then trying to formulate another question to ask. And in so doing, that becomes good conversation skills, which is also a life skill. And then finally, I would encourage them to work on their keyboarding skills by going to nitrotype.com or typing.com, because I cannot emphasize to them enough how much they're going to need those keyboarding skills in high school, in college, in the military, and any job they're going to have. They're probably going to be using a computer. So keyboarding is really important also. So that's what I would encourage them to do this summer. If they're a newcomer to the country, they might want to make flashcards. We've done that a lot in ELA classes this year, and probably in Miss Henderson's classes. So it's always helpful to use the flashcards.
Yes, so all of these tools, I think they'd be great for our parents, because many parents, I mean, they don't have to come to our campus, but they're being told, do a packet. Well, what packet? I don't have a computer. I don't have internet. I don't have many of these tools that the district is trying to push and give to all of our students, but I mean, in Austin IZ, we have approximately 83,000 students. It's just so many people to try to reach. But you giving these tools, I think, gives hope to many parents who are just, not knowing what to do with their kids at home while they're looking for a job, or an older brother, trying to step up and trying to help. I think that's very powerful. Ms. Bassett, there has also been many teachers, many educators who have contacted me and our program and said, hey, my goodness, how do people do it? Sometimes it's even more difficult to work on the computer and do all of these things, trying to connect with students through Zoom, distance learning, you name it. So what is your secret, Ms. Bassett? What has kept you going during these turbulent times? What would you like to share with our fellow teachers and educators and parents who are now being teachers at home?
Well, I'd have to say that there's not just one thing that has kept me going. It would be several things, I would say. But the primary thing has been having a belief in a higher power, believing in God. That would be my strongest thing. And then secondly, being able to talk to my immediate family, whether by text or by phone, frequently. I live alone, so I do get lonely. So being able to communicate with my family is really important. And then communicating with friends is also very helpful and supportive. That cheers me up. And then something that I wasn't expecting that has given me a lot of joy and has been very rewarding is communicating with my students. That has been a big surprise. So whether it's been by Zoom or by email or by phone or by blogging, being able to talk to my students and hear from them and what they're going through and what they're feeling has meant so much to me. I didn't realize what that was going to be like, but that has been so rewarding and has meant so much to me during this time. Also, reading books and magazines is a huge escape for me. It really takes me away from present reality and helps a lot. So I do that every night before I go to bed. Listening to music, I like all types of music and I like to dance, so I kind of, dance at home. Keeping a journal, I've always done that. Exercising, I try to walk in my neighborhood every day. Spending time with my cats, they keep wondering why I'm home so much right now. And cooking and baking, and that's about it.
Miss Bassett, those are all great things. And again, there's, like I mentioned before I asked you the question, there's been many people that we're out of our routine. The students are out of their routine, but teachers, we're out of our element, which is, the schoolhouse, the school building, the campus. We go in, we work our magic, we work ourselves to the bone. We get in at 6 in the morning, we get out of there at, 5, 6, 8 at 9, Miss Bassett, grading papers. And you go home tired, knowing that you've done just an incredible job creating little, humans, better citizens, and preparing them for the future. But now you're at home, and I'm starting to get a little loopy myself. But Ms. Bassett, now to our students who are watching, what would you recommend, tell them? Do you have any advice or words of wisdom that you would like to share with them?
I do. What I would like to tell them is something that has taken me almost a whole lifetime to learn for myself, that I would hope they could start learning now. And that is that now more than ever, you need to learn how to advocate for yourself. And what does that mean exactly, to advocate for yourself? It means to ask for what you need, ask for what you want. It means to learn to speak up for yourself. This is a life skill that you will always need to have, no matter what your environment is. It has been important for you in the school classroom, but it's even more important now that we're online. because the teacher is not there to be able to observe you when you're doing your assignments. And so it's really hard for us to know if you are understanding how to do an assignment, or what the assignment is asking you to do, what the assignment means, how to get into Blend or how to get into the assignment. So unless you ask questions, we don't know what you're thinking, what you're feeling. You need to remember that there is no such thing as a dumb or stupid question, and there never will be, no matter what it's about in any kind of life situation. And all of your teachers have already been through this their whole lives. We've already been in this situation many times, and we continue as teachers every day. We ask lots of questions, whether it has to do with our job or some other situation in life. We are always asking questions to clarify whatever we need to know about. So I want you to ask questions for what you need, what you want to know, what you need to ask. You need to learn to fight for yourself and to be your own best friend.
I couldn't have said it better. I got a little teary-eyed because you're absolutely right. I mean, our students are at home. They might not have their parents at home because they're probably out working, and they have to fend for themselves. And I think you summed it up beautifully. Ms. Bassett, I can't thank you enough, for joining us today. We truly appreciate you coming on and giving us all of these tips and tools for our parents and students to use at home. It's so valuable, it's powerful, and it's free.
It is such an honor that you and Mr. Cruz would ask me to do this. It is a huge honor. And I feel very lucky, very fortunate, very grateful that you would give me this opportunity.
We're the ones that need to be thankful. All of the hundreds of thousands of people that will be watching this, I know they're gonna want a Miss Bassett shirt. They're gonna want, to get to meet you. So, more on that to come. But to all of our viewers out there, please feel free to post any questions that you may have or would like for us to look into. And as always, remember to share, like, and follow our page. Talk soon.